Hey everyone, Sean V. Martin here. What follows will be the Five Things podcast, but first I have a little question for you guys. After a couple minutes into the podcast, you will hear the audio quality deteriorate, and a very strange clipping phenomenon will occur for the entirety of the rest of the podcast. I apologize for this, and I've been trying to figure out a workaround for this for a very long time, but I can find no solution. If any of you out there who are listening to this know of any way to fix this or what the problem actually is, I would be delighted to find out. It only happens when I'm recording in Audacity. I can tell you that. If I record with another program, I do not have a problem. However, I am capturing two audio feeds to one computer, and Fraps, which is my other audio recording solution, does not like to record both those things at the same time. That only works in Audacity. But then I have this other problem. So if any of you know any way I can fix this, please contact me. Use the email address in the info, which is chancesarelimited@gmail.com. Thanks very much for your help. Welcome to the Five Things podcast. My name is Sean.
And I'm Alisha Pez.
And severe apologies for the complete lack of a podcast last week. My technology is in a continuous state of contention with me.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Maybe it's you.
Probably.
Because we had problems on SCHP, but very few times did I have an unrecoverable podcast.
Oh, I jinxed it.
What's your problem?
What's your problem?
Whoa, ouch, that hurt. Cut me deep. So what you missed basically was a discussion of our preferences in horror films, which we can review.
Sure.
But the major content that was lost forever and can never be repeated was I explained the entire plot of Antichrist to Alisha.
It was gross. That's really all I have to say about it.
And that's pretty much all you had to say during the experience as well.
I said a lot of ooh, ew, gross, ow, I don't want to hear this, gross.
It's a pretty gross movie. And it's available on Netflix in case you're really curious and you want to check it out.
Sure.
It is disturbing and disgusting and also beautiful at the same time.
Yeah. We also talked about upcoming horror movies. That was kind of more interesting. There was no detail. It was just like, hey, this movie's going to come out. And I was like, cool.
Yeah.
And then there's probably gross stuff in it, but I didn't have to hear about it, which was also cool.
What did we go see? We saw Looper.
Yeah.
Which we won't go into detail because you should see it without spoilers.
Yeah,
seriously.
You should. It's really great.
But
JGL.
we saw a trailer. Stop drooling. We saw a trailer for the next Guillermo del Toro picture, which did you realize it's not actually directed by him?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw it in the trailer.
For some reason, when we were watching the trailer, I thought it was directed by him, but then when I looked it up, I was like, oh, no, just produced.
Yeah.
It's called Mama.
Yeah.
I will make sure to link the trailer in the info. It looks awesome.
Yeah. I always like Jessica Chastain. She's in it.
Yeah.
And she looks fantastic. She always looks so different in every movie that you see her in. Anyway, I want to watch it just because I like her.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I saw the first Guillermo movie that I saw was Hellboy, but I didn't know who Guillermo was. It wasn't until Pan's Labyrinth and the Oscar attention that I was like, oh, this is a guy who does movies with creatures and animatronics and stuff.
And he does good horror too.
Yeah.
The Devil's Backbone, right?
Yeah, The Devil's Backbone came first. Then it was Pan's Labyrinth, and they're not tied together in any way except thematically. If you like either one of them, you should definitely watch the other.
For sure.
And The Orphanage was also not directed by him, produced.
Okay. I was like, why is that attached to him in my head? I don't know.
That's different. That's very different than those other two. It's not like a creature feature. Okay. I would call Pan's Labyrinth and well, actually, The Devil's Backbone is kind of a ghost story.
Yeah, it is.
So that fits in with The Orphanage.
Yeah.
But anyway, Mama looks great.
Yeah,
and
it does.
It's one of those horror movies that doesn't come out around October, fall times.
Right. It's coming out in January.
They're always there's always a batch of horror movies in January and February, and this is going to be one of those.
Yeah.
Looking forward. Also, Hellboy 3.
Yeah, that's going to happen too.
That's on the burner. That is one of the projects he had to abandon Lord of the Rings for. He couldn't do The Hobbit because the strike went too long. So you just brought home food from the mall.
I did.
Which we don't spend much time at the mall.
I hate the mall.
I just go to get my hair cut.
Me too. That's exactly what I was doing.
That's about the only time. And there's this place that I've been going to get Chinese food from the food court since high school, like 10 years. It's called Pan Pacific Grill.
Yep.
The reason I go is because there's always a guy with samples out front.
And they're always delicious.
And they always entice you in, and you walk over pretending like you're not going to get food there so that they'll give you samples.
And then you're like, wow, that was pretty delicious. I might just have to.
You surreptitiously take a sample, and you're like, oh, you've convinced me.
Mm-hmm. This teriyaki is pretty tasty.
So I wanted honey chicken and teriyaki, and
right.
What happened?
They're not, well, they were there, but they only had one chicken, and it was teriyaki, and it wasn't that delicious. And they had sushi instead.
Sushi?
At the same place. Like, it was the same place with just completely different food. And then there was a Thai place next to it, which was brand new, and I've never seen before, and I was like, I don't trust you, you're new. So there's another Chinese place down on the end called China Party. And so I went to China Party, and we got bourbon chicken and orange chicken, which tasted exactly like teriyaki chicken and honey chicken, which I thought was funny.
That's bizarre.
So, yeah. Our dinner was pretty much the same as it would have been a year ago from the other place. From a completely different place.
I think it's okay that you didn't go to the new place. That food court has a history of places that closed down.
Yes, it's true.
For non-savory reasons.
Yes. I was tempted to go to Salad Works, and then I was like, no, that's silly.
What's wrong with Salad Works?
I love Salad Works, but I wanted horrible Chinese food. Duh.
I don't think I would have objected to Salad Works, but you didn't have my punch card with you, so...
Right. We could have gotten free salads.
Right. I legitimize the price of their food knowing that every 10 salads, I'm going to get one free. So I think to myself, every time I buy a salad, it's actually 10% off.
Good thinking.
See?
That's so smart.
Is it?
I don't know, but they got you.
Yeah, they did. They totally got me. I have one of those punch cards that they punch the carrot shape in.
I got it. Yeah, I've seen it. At least at Salad Works, the punch card system is relatively easy to use. At the place where I work, and one of our favorite places, Pita Pit, they have a point system where you can cash them in at several different point breaks or something.
Do you cash them in, or are they just like automatic? Do they just kick in?
I don't know. There's different things because I've noticed that at Pita Pit, it's like at 45 points, you get a sandwich, but if you at 90, you get 2 sandwiches or something like that.
Do the points correspond to the amount of dollars you spend, or is it something arbitrary?
I don't have any clue. We have one at the cafe that I don't even understand.
It feels like Xbox Live achievement points or something. Like they're just arbitrary point values to certain accomplishments. And I don't really know when I'm getting them.
I believe you're referring to Whose Line Is It Anyway, where the points don't matter.
That is the point of every club card, basically.
Yes. The cafe that I work at has this ridiculous point system that I don't actually understand in any way. I know that I have some points.
I actually didn't even know that your cafe had that.
We used to just have buy 10 drinks, you get one free.
See, that's the way to do it.
I know. But now we have some absurd point system where if it's like 10 or more, then you get a medium drink. And if it's like 15, you can get a smoothie. And if it's like 25, you can get a t-shirt. I don't know. It's ridiculous.
There's got to be... I don't know if they listen to this podcast, but there's some marketer out there who can explain to us why they're doing this.
Because it's the customer's decision then to cash them in, and I'm assuming most people don't, so you end up giving away less stuff.
Okay, well that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like that's the reason that a lot of companies do rebates.
Yes, rebates.
Rebates. Rebates, because people will forget them or not want to get the necessary paperwork together. I got an email from PayPal that I guess everyone who belongs to PayPal probably got that says that they are changing their policy. You need to opt out of this thing or you will not be able to participate in class action lawsuits anymore against them. And in order to opt out of it, you have to mail them a letter.
That's ridiculous.
In the actual mail.
The actual mail? I don't know what you mean.
I've been part of class action lawsuits before that
Netflix.
I did not, precipitate in any way. They just happened, and I
participate.
Precipitate.
Oh, okay, sure.
I participated in them. I did not precipitate.
You didn't take any action of your own to start it.
Yeah,
and you didn't reign.
Yeah, I was one of the early adapters of Netflix. Adapters. See, now I'm getting all confused with.
Your lexicon has been jumbled.
What have you done to me, Perez?
I don't know.
I was an early adopter of... See, now I don't know if it's adapter or adopter.
It's just
of Netflix.
Subscriber is what we're going to call it.
There we go. And I jumped ship to Blockbuster because Blockbuster had this deal where you got a card and you could go into their store and exchange DVD on site, and you could just do that. You could go home, watch a movie, go back to the store, switch it out, go home, watch a movie, go back to the store, switch it out.
I get the general idea there.
And that might have been half responsible for the bankruptcy of Blockbuster because that completely shot their business model all to hell.
Of course.
And when that ended, I was a member of the Blockbuster Online thing that was like Netflix, like you could mail DVDs.
Right.
Then Netflix had a class action lawsuit against them that the premise of the lawsuit was that they were deliberately taking too long to change out DVDs. And for whatever reason, they settled, and the way that they settled was they gave everyone who was a member at the time something like 30 days or 60 days of free membership.
Well, that's
so
fun.
I got an email that said...
So they lured you back with the class action lawsuit.
They didn't want to, but you know what? It certainly didn't hurt them because I got 30 days of free Netflix.
And you were like, okay, this is all right.
And the service and the speed was so much better than I remembered it being that I immediately switched back, and I have been a member ever since. And I've never canceled my subscription again.
Yeah. Except now we just stream, because who wants to get things in the mail?
Well, that's what they want. They want you to just stream. It's way more profitable for them.
Of course, because who uses the mail?
My parents.
Yeah, that's weird.
Actually, do they still use it? I think so. I think they do.
Well, I don't know.
Man, there was a time when my mom would come home with literally like 4 or 5 DVDs from Blockbuster. She would spend $30 at Blockbuster. And I'd be like, Mom, for less than half of that, you could have an entire month of Netflix and watch as many movies as you have time for. The turnaround is like 2 days here with discs.
I remember one time me and my little brother, before Netflix or Blockbuster had subscription services, we just had like a summer of movies. And we rented like 2 movies every week and watched a ton of movies. And we must have paid out the butt.
Probably.
And then we ended up buying some movies because we didn't return some movies. That's how it used to work.
I think most of my DVD collection on my shelf, I bought pre-subscription services. Yeah. Because that's what you did. Like Blockbuster would have a sale that it was like 5 movies for $20. And you'd pick up 5 random movies, which is why I have like Traffic on DVD, which is a good movie. But how many times am I going to watch Traffic?
Pause. First DVD you ever bought?
Austin Powers. I bought Austin Powers and Austin Powers: The Spy Who Shagged Me at the same time at Blockbuster after I got my DVD player from Amazon.com in the mail or UPS or whatever.
I don't think I had my own DVD player until I started college.
My parents refused to buy one. I had to buy one.
That's silly.
They didn't see the need for it.
Oh.
And I was like, you guys are going to be the people who bought the Betamax player when everyone else bought VHS.
Yep.
And then they used that DVD player until it died, and then they had to buy a new one. And I never actually got that one myself because I was still living there when it died.
Oh.
I even know the disc that killed it because I had to open the DVD player and get it out. It was Urban Legend Final Cut. Speaking of horror movies.
Yeah.
It all ties together.
It does. Well, I asked you what your first DVD was. My first was Chicago. I remember that.
Okay.
I liked it.
Chicago's great. Carter and I have talked about Chicago.
Really?
Yes.
I love it. It's a fantastic movie musical.
I had an intro to film class my freshman year of college. I was automatically assigned to it, which was just
awesome for
providence because I had no idea how much I was going to like film until I took that class. And we had to do one of those like five movie desert island situations. And God help me, I can't remember all the ones I picked.
The Matrix and The Matrix followed by The Matrix.
I actually don't think I picked The Matrix.
What?
The way that I took the assignment was I wanted to pick 5 movies that I could watch for the rest of my days.
Right.
Like as long as I was alive. And at that point, I was like, I've already seen The Matrix 50 times.
At least.
I don't need to watch it anymore. I know one of them was 2001. But anyway, I can't think of what the other 3 were, but one movie was Chicago.
Really?
Yes.
Well, it's wonderful.
I said, if I'm just taking movies and I can't take like a record player or an MP3 player or something, and I want some music, I will throw it into. I'm not going to take like a concert on DVD.
Right.
I'll take.
You wouldn't take Dave Matthews on DVD?
No, she was asking for movies.
I know.
Films. So that was my favorite movie musical of the time, and I was like, sure.
I think it probably still is my favorite movie musical.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen that many recently.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know.
We didn't even see 9. Is that the same person? No?
Yeah.
Yes? No and yes?
It's the same director, yeah.
Yeah. I even like Daniel Day-Lewis almost enough to watch it. Speaking of Lincoln.
You know the reason that we haven't watched that I haven't watched 9.
Quoi?
And therefore you haven't watched 9 is because I don't want to watch 9 before I watch 8.5.
Oh.
Because
well, and also because it didn't do that well.
That's not a reason for me.
Really?
I saw
Yes,
Antichrist. I just watched Antichrist.
Okay. Well, no, I didn't. I love a good movie musical, but I didn't go see Mamma Mia because I want to see Mamma Mia. So
Dancing
I don't know.
Queen.
So I will watch an excellent, a well done movie musical, but I don't know. Don't need to see all of them.
So yeah,
9,
Lincoln looks insane.
Yeah.
Lincoln looks great. You know, one thing that keeps bugging me about Lincoln is I know it is incontrovertible beyond everyone knows Lincoln did not sound like that.
Like what?
Everyone knows that Lincoln had a very high-pitched, nasally, womanish voice.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Well, it's very well documented.
That's interesting. You know what's also kind of fun about it? Tommy Lee Jones plays a character from our town.
Yeah, he does.
Tommy Lee Jones plays Thaddeus Stevens, who was one of the, like, apparently just a vicious congressman, very fiercely abolitionist, and had lived in Lancaster. Shawn actually taught at Thaddeus Stevens College of Technology or something like that.
Yeah.
And he was a great congressman from here. It was kind of fun.
And
cool.
we were just kind of fantasizing that Tommy Lee Jones came here to
to research
the
Lancaster,
part.
see what it's like. Checked out his house.
Where's his house?
Well, there's the Stevens and Smith house, which is in downtown Lancaster. It's on Queen Street. And then I don't know if his actual home is there. That was like a house that he owned in the city that was, I don't know, his
vacation home in the city.
I don't know. I don't really know that much about him.
His business home.
Well, he had like a black woman friend. I'm not really sure what their relationship was, and she ran this house for him.
Maybe
and it
we'll
was
find out in the movie.
Yeah. I don't know. She might not be in it. He is. That's all I know. And it was like outrageous that he let this black woman run his business or something like that.
But he was an abolitionist, so.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It was the point.
He was like, I have jungle fever.
Pretty much.
Brown sugar. I'm just going to sing my way through the entire podcast this week.
Good thinking. So, yeah, Lincoln's going to be fantastic. Any other exciting movies coming up for you?
Of course.
Well, yeah. I actually got really excited for, I don't even know why. I don't even like Keira Knightley. I've never seen Atonement or Pride and Prejudice, which are the other two movies that she's made with the same director. I haven't even watched them, but was it Pride and Prejudice? Whatever movie she was in. Yeah, it was. And I've never even seen them, but they did Anna Karenina. I don't know how you say it, but I also have never read a Russian literature book, so I read the entire book just now. I just finished it in preparation for the movie. I think so.
Is that one of those like
free
public
classics?
Domain?
Probably. And so I just read it in preparation for the film, and I got less excited about the film as I was really excited for it at first because I was like, oh my gosh, epic Russian romantic drama, I'm in.
Yeah.
Now I've read more about the staging of it, which is literally that the entire thing is portrayed on a stage, and I'm like, I don't know how that's going to go over.
Oh, in the movie, it's...
Yes.
Oh.
I don't understand. It's going to be really surreal.
I didn't realize that, actually.
Yes. I don't... It's going to be very surreal, I'm sure. Like, it's not going to be like Atonement or the other two. But anyway, I'll see that
I've never
probably.
seen any of this guy's movies either.
Yeah.
So
but they're supposed to be excellent. And I do love historical fiction and stuff. I love Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah. See, when you mentioned upcoming movies, I thought you were just leading the discussion to Paranormal Activity 4.
No, I'm not talking about horror.
I'm talking about horror.
I don't want to talk about horror. I want to talk about epic movies.
Epic horror
movies. We had a discussion about horror last week that got erased forever, so it's gone. We already did that.
Well, I did want to refresh on our audience on the comedy horror movies that we watched, because that was fun.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
They were fun.
We watched a bunch of comedy horror in preparation for our October. We rewatched Cabin in the Woods, because that's just fantastic. And it was just as good the second time around.
Funny, scary.
It's really fun
Scary,
watching
funny.
it once you know all the details.
Yes.
Because you get to watch for all the hints and cues and clues.
Yeah.
I like that. And we also watched a movie called Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which is on Netflix streaming. And it stars Alan Tudyk, who you may know as Wash from Firefly, and Tyler Labine, who is now on Monkey Hospital.
Yes, he is.
Also known as Animal Practice. He was also
3
on
swims.
an awesome show called Reaper, which I think that's on Netflix too. I'm fairly certain. If it's not on Netflix, it's on Hulu. I've seen it on one of those 2 services. Anyway, he's hysterical. It's really easy to just compare him to Jack Black, but I don't think he's actually that much like Jack Black. He's just kind of a big, frantic, funny guy. Very quick on his feet. And by that, I don't mean physically. I mean witty.
Both ways.
I guess so. Anyway, Tucker and Dale versus Evil is about... It's actually very similar to Cabin in the Woods. And it is about 2 rednecks. I mean very similar in style, not like story.
Right.
It's about 2 rednecks. It's about a group of teenagers. It's a very typical horror setup where they're going to a cabin in the woods. You know, the one guy's like distant relative has or whatever. And they encounter these 2 rednecks that are just basically scaring the crap out of them.
Yeah. But not on purpose.
Well,
they're just sweet rednecks.
That's what you find out. They're not trying to do it. It's just this...
They can't socialize together.
This big misinterpretation of what they're trying to do. And the big guy, Tyler Labine, is just like trying to flirt with a girl.
Yeah, but he does walk over to her with the scythe in his hand, just not thinking like, hey, I've got a scary, rusty weapon in my hand. And so she's just looking at that while he's like, hey. So and being really shy and awkward.
Just like Cabin in the Woods, it is a mix of very funny things and still a lot of like jump scares and gotcha moments.
Right. And horror and gore.
And gore.
There's a wood chipper. I mean, come on. It doesn't get better than that.
God. As soon as you see the wood chipper, you're like, oh no, someone's going in there.
Yeah. Yep. Suicide pact.
It's like Fargo. Shh, don't ruin anything.
I didn't.
Okay. Well, anyway, that's a good movie. I keep wanting to watch Shaun of the Dead. I don't know if we're going to get around to it. I found out while I was listening to the Rooster Teeth podcast that was the first movie that Gavin Free worked on. He shot the end scene, spoiler, where the police station blows up. That's a model.
The police station blows up?
That's a model, and he blew it up in high speed, because that's what he does. He shoots high speed. That's really cool. He got to hold a prop, one of the props of the severed head of that couple.
Yeah.
He said it was the most gory, disgusting, realistic looking severed head you could possibly imagine.
Awesome.
Kind of.
Sure.
It's Horror October.
I'm not into it.
I'm trying to gross you out.
You are succeeding, sir.
Reach into this bowl of grapes and close your eyes.
No. Also, you told me it's grapes.
I mean...
You're not supposed to do that, Shawn.
Damn it. Foiled again.
Did you do that on purpose, or did I just catch you?
I love you.
Okay. Oh, man. Now you made me think of like my first ever like Halloween party where I was a teenager and I was in a costume and it was really weird. Anyway.
You were about to say, and a boy.
Yeah. He asked me to dance with him and I was too nervous to. I was like, no, I don't like him.
I don't like boys.
I was a princess.
Cooties.
Yeah.
You were a princess.
Yeah. Duh.
I don't remember ever having like Halloween parties.
Yeah, I think it was near my friend's birthday. I'm not really sure. Anyway.
Me and all my friends always had New Year's stuff. You actually came to one.
Yes, I did.
When we started dating. That was like the group that I'd been hanging out with since I was 14.
And it was all girls.
Yeah, it was all girls. I
had guy friends.
There were totally guys in that group. They just all dropped out by the time you came to hang out. I pretty infamously only hang out with women.
Yes, it's true.
I don't get along with guys. They want to talk about football and fishing,
like
and
manly things or something.
We live in a part of the state where like it's football country, and
I'm pretty sure everywhere in America is football country.
That's true.
But we live in Yeah, Lancaster. It's a rural area. We live in Lancaster City, but there's a lot of rural around us. I believe we call it
There's a lot
Pennsyltucky.
of rural?
Yes. I believe it's called Pennsyltucky. Yes.
Anyone outside of the country won't get that joke.
Yeah. There's Amish near us. I mean, like people who still drive in a horse and carriage.
You know what's kind of disappointing?
What?
I'm moving to, as made famous by Five Things this week, I'm moving to a new store. I got a promotion.
Mm-hmm.
The store that I worked at, I see Amish people every day.
Really?
Just about every day.
That's weird.
I would say 4 out of 5 days of the week, I will see Amish people in the store. They come in, they buy meat, they buy batteries. They buy a lot of batteries.
Of course.
And like today, I came out down the one aisle and I looked down and there's just like a 9-year-old boy in the garb. He's got a hat on. And I was like, oh, little Amish kid. And just like, that's just a normal occurrence. And you go outside and there will be a horse tied up on our horse tie, which we have a horse tie. There's a bank beside our grocery store, also has a horse tie.
It's a hitch thing, yeah. I drive around one day a week, like delivering stuff for my business. And every single time I have to go out to New Holland, and New Holland like is in Amish country. It's a tiny little town. And I think I pass a horse and buggy every morning that I do that. I work in Lancaster City, so I don't normally see it on a regular basis except for then.
Yeah.
When I'm going east.
You won't see a lot of horse and buggies.
I'm going
in
out
the
towards
city.
Paradise.
Yeah. Paradise, Blue Ball, Bird in Hand.
Yeah. Those places.
New Holland is actually there was a company in New Holland called New Holland that is an international company that makes you will see their construction vehicles all over the world.
Specifically in James Bond films.
I was gonna say it's at the beginning of Casino Royale, right?
When he's in that giant construction site
he's in
chasing
the
down
giant
parkour
fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're on like a New Holland piece of machinery at one point, which is bizarre.
I noticed that like it took me out of the movie when I was seeing
it
it for the first time.
Weird. Very weird.
It was really weird. It's like the time I also noticed that blue Chep skids are also all over the world.
Right. I don't know what that means.
Well, you don't get deliveries that come on giant skids, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Well, sometimes.
A lot of stores get skids that are painted blue, and on the side they say Chep.
Ah.
And I have no idea what this company is called Chep that manufactures blue wooden skids, but they're all over the world.
Okay, gotcha.
See, suddenly it rings a bell.
Yeah, I didn't know they were wooden. I was thinking blue plastic.
I'll have to research it and see if I can find anything and throw it in the info.
I forget what movie we were watching, but there's like a car scene and it was kind of boring, and I realized in the background there's a Cisco truck, which is a restaurant supply company, and I was like, that's a Cisco truck.
I wonder if that's limited to
no, not at all.
To North America.
No, I don't know if it is or not. I just know like it's definitely all over the country.
Yeah,
or at least the East Coast.
Definitely. When we were on vacation, we were on this tiny little island.
You have to take a ferry to get to it.
And there was a Cisco truck the one morning, and I was like,
hop in on the ferry once a week or something.
They go all over.
Yeah. Interesting. It definitely takes you out of the movie when you're like, hey, I know that. You're not supposed to know that.
So we're always watching, we always have an ongoing TV watching schedule. Like there are a bunch of shows we're keeping up on. And then typically we tend to be re-watching a show or we're watching an old show. Right now we are getting very close to the end of Scrubs.
For the third time.
Well, second time for me.
Sure. Is it only your second time?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because my first time was...
I know. With you, me, got it.
Well, explain
when we first started dating.
Okay.
That was like the first show we watched together.
Yeah, I'd never really watched Scrubs. And you were like, you've never really watched Scrubs? And I was like, no, I never really watched Scrubs. And you were like, we should totally watch Scrubs.
Right now. Let's go do it.
So we watched all 9. No. We caught up to where they were because it was still airing.
Right.
And
then we watched it and finished it.
I'd like to say that I fell in love with you while we were watching Scrubs. That's all.
Yep. We just rewatched Happy Endings. That was also incredible. I love that show.
That show snuck up on us.
Oh, totally. It's coming back.
The whole first season went by before we were like, wait, what is this amazing show?
Well, I think the reason we initially started watching it was because we saw the premiere of New Girl, the pilot, which had Damon Wayans Jr. on it. And he left after that one episode because his other show was taking off. And we were like, what could be better than New Girl?
Yeah, New Girl's pretty great.
It is. It's awesome. So anyway, we decided to check out his other show, which was Happy Endings, and loved it.
Which has Joe from Scrubs.
Yeah, Denise.
Joe.
Her name is Denise.
Joe.
Okay.
From The Facts of Life.
Yes, she's Joe from The Facts of Life. Anyway.
Also Alicia Cuthbert from 24
Yeah.
fame, although, oh my God. Okay, so this is my go-to for her character on Happy Endings.
Yeah.
If you've ever watched Red versus Blue, who has the best lines? Come on, you
Caboose.
know. Caboose
I couldn't
has
think
the
of his
best
name.
lines. She plays a character named Alex. Alex has the best lines.
Yeah, she does.
She and Alicia Cuthbert, who I think of, I always go to 24 first because that was just the first place I saw her.
Mm-hmm.
I forget, like, she was in The Girl Next Door, and she's hysterical in that. She's also a little bit serious because it's kind of a
And super sexy.
dramedy. On Happy Endings, she just says the funniest stuff, completely genuine. She's so serious because she's so naive and sweet and stupid.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love her character. She's so funny.
Yeah, I really like her. I don't know if she's my favorite.
Max is your favorite.
Probably, yeah. He's
Yeah.
just so funny. He's great.
Max.
He's super Chicago.
Yeah, he's the only one out of the 6 of them, even though they live in Chicago.
Yeah.
He's the only one who has a Chicago accent. He's not
Right.
even from Chicago. He's from New Jersey.
Yeah, but he's great. I like Penny. I don't know. The whole cast. Fantastic.
Why
Love
didn't
it,
I
love
realize that she was on SNL for 2 seasons?
I told you that like a million times. Like a million times as we were watching it. Don't you remember her on SNL?
And
She was really funny on SNL.
I must not have been watching SNL when she was on it. I must have started like the season after she left.
Which is weird.
You know,
I'm
she
pretty
left
sure we
for
watched
Happy
it together.
Endings.
Yeah, I know.
No, we didn't.
I don't know about that.
I know.
Okay. There was an episode that Anne Hathaway hosted that I remember had her in it. They did one of those Lawrence Welk, is that what it is? Where Fred Armisen is the conductor or
Yes,
whatever of this
yes.
band, and Kristen Wiig played that girl with the giant forehead and the tiny hands. And she's in one of their sketches.
Oh man, I don't remember this at all. We'll
Yeah.
totally have to go to Hulu and find some.
Yeah, Hulu has everything. We can do that. She's great.
It has it all. I've seen
We could
everything.
I think she. No, I don't know. Anyway,
You want to make some stuff up?
maybe. I like the episode where Justin.
Her name's
Timberlake
Casey
hosts.
Wilson, by the way.
Yeah,
We're
she's
not
great.
just skipping around who it is. Her name is Daryl Hammond.
Not quite. Casey Wilson. She's really funny, and she is great on Happy Endings. She really gets to stand out. SNL is such an ensemble.
Yeah.
You didn't even, not that you didn't notice her, but she's
You have to
great.
be Taron Killam to stand out on that
Oh
show
my
now.
gosh, he's so funny. I really liked his promos with Daniel Craig. They were really great. Everybody else did too.
Every so often I have like an awesome Twitter moment, and this week that the promos for SNL with Daniel Craig came out, Taron Killam was in all of them, and the place that I found them on the internet was a YouTube clip where some British talk show,
British
called,
morning show,
it was
yeah.
like called Good Morning or something. They showed them all in a row, which is kind of weird because normally they're
Yeah.
all split up on commercial spots. And at the end, the hosts are laughing, and the woman was like, I think I actually prefer Taron in those clips over Daniel
Yeah,
Craig.
which is so funny.
And the guy was laughing. He was like, really? And I thought
he's
that was
Daniel
hilarious.
Craig.
So I took this clip and sent it to Taron Killam on Twitter. And I was like, hey, dude, the woman in this clip digs you over Daniel Craig. And he tweeted back at me and was like, I'll take it. And I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the reason I'm on
He's
Twitter.
totally, I don't know if he's our like favorite on SNL right now, but he's so great.
He is undoubtedly my favorite. You like that one girl.
I don't like her more than him though. I just think she's a surprise.
You like Bobby Moynihan.
Oh my god, I love Bobby Moynihan.
He has the best faces.
He does. His cat. Oh, on the episode, was it the one with Daniel Craig?
Yep.
They did an aliens sketch, and for some reason, Bobby Moynihan was this like space miner who really liked his cat, his kitty cat.
I apologize to international viewers. I will include this in the info, but you won't be able to see it unless you're in the United States.
Oh.
But oh my god, that whole episode was pretty rough
Yeah,
overall.
yeah.
But that one sketch, he never gets to lead a sketch.
Bobby?
Yeah, and this was
Yeah.
one of the times he got to lead a sketch. And
Yes, he was
damn
fantastic.
it, it was so funny.
He's drunk uncle. I mean,
Yeah, but that's not the same.
I also very much enjoyed in Joseph Gordon-Levitt's opening number that they did. They decided to mock Sorry, Magic Mike. And they did a strip number. And at the beginning, at one point, all the guys from the cast, like Jay Farrow and Taran Killam, and then Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Bobby Moynihan are in a row, and they all take off their vests one at a time. And under Bobby Moynihan's vest is another vest.
He doesn't strip down.
No.
He's a never nude.
Exactly.
Oh, man. So excited for Arrested Development.
So pumped. We've watched that show all the way through twice.
Yeah.
Now.
I feel like I should just watch that on a loop.
Pretty much.
So that I can absorb all of the great in-jokes and everything.
Yeah. We don't need to absorb. We can just... it's so good. I'm excited for it to come back for sure. What is it on Netflix?
Yeah.
And you can just watch it all at once.
Yes, all 10 episodes.
We can binge.
We're going to.
I know.
Whenever it happens, you and I are going to take a day
yeah.
and watch all 10.
So speaking of binge watching, OMG Homeland.
OMG Homeland, the 3rd episode is on tonight.
I know. I'm so excited.
Well, I have an idea. We could do a spoiler cast of the first 3 episodes of the 2nd season next week.
We can talk about it right now.
Or we could talk about it next week.
We can just watch it.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Next week it is.
Next week it is. And then you're going to do the Fresh Prince wrap too, right?
Yeah, next week. Perfect.
Next week.
I'm glad we have time for it next week. Sure.